We're talking about the uncovered player in wide or mid-zone concepts. And we presented various coaching points on what you're doing to teach that uncovered player in that trail. Some coaches have talked about a lateral step. Some coaches talked about a bucket step. Some coaches talk about a rip to run step. Some coaches talk about different, visual eye progressions, face mask, near armpit, bicep. So I'm just going to give you some various cut-ups here of uncovered players in these schemes as this thing starts to develop here. The first thing we're doing is we're working to the left. This is Western Connecticut State University. Coach Drew Owens, the offensive line coach and offensive coordinator, talks about an open bucket and a crossover. So right now, this player, even though it may look like he's an inside shade, it doesn't matter in Coach Owens' concept or his system. Okay, he is purely uncovered because to the play side, all right, he is uncovered. So he is working his tracks. So open crossover. All right, now the whole thing is the aiming point of that defender. Okay, a what covered defender, that defensive lineman, as he continues to show. So as this thing develops, a lot of coaches talked about on the third step, this player has to make a decision whether or not he is going to continue to work with the adjacent offensive lineman next to him, or is he going to climb for the second level. Okay, in this situation, 67 has made a determination, since that cloth does not stay inside, or that armpit or that knee or that hip, whatever you're coaching, okay, he's able to continue his tracks and pick up a second level player and make a great block on him. Same team. Okay, we're going to the left now. Again, uncovered lineman is that guard. He's watching, Coach Owens talks more about, opening up and crossing over and reading on the run than anything else. So in this situation right now, by the third step, he has determined now that he cannot help with that tackle, so he is going to work up to linebacker level. Gets good contact point there. Ball's able to bounce outside of it. Okay, same player, same situation, just different play. Okay, players uncovered. Now, Coach Morrissey from Princeton talked to us a lot about predicating your movement based on that backer. If this backer right here is plussed, which means he is closer to this, since it's a wide zone scheme, if he's closer to being out of the box, you got to move a little quicker. So there's one second step. By his third step right now, he knows that there's no color there, there's nothing hanging there, there's no knee, no armpit, okay, no hip, and now you just work it to the second level. Okay, now color starts to show. As you see right now, we're looking at the left guard, uncovered player. Cover starts to show right now, so now you got to be able to still be in a position to overtake that block. Okay, so now he gets his outside hand on his armpit, inside hand on the sternum. He's going to press vertical and get that thing sealed. Huge crevice for the back to run through. Minnesota State Mankato. Okay. This is a trail technique. Coach Jason Eck, the offensive line coach and offensive coordinator at Minnesota State Mankato, talks about a trail technique. Okay, in his combos, looking at the left tackle here. It's an open step. It's a crossover on the second step. And then he works to his regular landmark. Okay, once he sees that color does not show, he's going to work up to the linebacker level. I know it's tough to see right there, but the player does a pretty good job of doing that. Same thing, Mankato, going into the boundary, looking right here at the left guard. Oh, excuse me, coach is looking at the right tackle on this one. Got the wrong note. Okay, takes a step. Now, some coaches talk about a hand presence. Some do not talk about a hand presence. Most will talk about that third step. Once he gets that third step in the ground, he has to make a determination whether or not he knocks the down guy off or he works to the second level. Pretty good stretch by that tackle. As you can see right now, he's able to get up to the second level and take care of that. And Coach Eck does a good job talking about his covered players, about what kind of footwork they use. And that's all documented in the clinic report, whether it's an open step, okay, a wide step, or a lateral step. This is still Mankato. Okay, now we're looking at a center who is largely uncovered. I mean, there's no A-gap presence at all at the first level. So right now he knows that backer is plussed. He has no threat. Now there's a difference here. He has no threat of anything crossing face here. Okay, so he knows he's got to move pretty quickly. And that's something that your players have to have a good idea of understanding. There should be no three-step contact read at this point. This player's going to hang in there because he was set as a wide three technique. Okay, so that center's got to work up right away and take that backer. He turned back a little too early, as you can see here. Not the greatest technique. It's a pretty good coaching point here. Here's Michigan State. Okay, we're looking at the right tackle. I think for a moment the right tackle thinks there may be a spike here. He still should be working. Okay, taking his read and climbing to the second level. Okay, Coach Staten at Michigan State talks about a short pull technique, which the drill work is in case 1, or excuse me, case 2 of our clinic report. Okay, uncovered tackle. Now again, where's that color? That color's right in that C gap. So you have to be prepared as an uncovered player. You may not want to take a wide bucket step here. Your open step may not be too big because you know there's a threat right now of color showing into your gap. Okay, and that's a great job in the initial, combination block right here. Great contact by that player, by that right tackle. Okay, getting movement. Now, I did want to show you the center in this situation because the center right now, he's working to a 3 technique. A lot of coaches have questions about that center working to a 3 technique. All depends on the footwork, on what you want to do with that footwork. Right now, it's an open step. Again, it's a short pull, as Coach Staten talks about at Michigan State. Okay, he's eyeing that cloth. He's eyeing that near, that near hip, whatever you want to coach. By the 3rd step, he has to make a decision. He decides, he doesn't get too vertical here. Okay, he stays on the line of scrimmage. He's just going to knock that color on that plane. There's enough room for the back to take it outside of there anyway. Okay, now this is a great job of this center running. And this is something where, again, you have a wide 3 technique right here. This center knows chances are there's no threat of a spike. There's no threat of that color really showing in that gap. There's his plus linebacker. He's got to do a good job of closing that distance, okay, and then working up. Now, this is a pure run. This is a rip to run. Some coaches like Coach Donatelli, some of the NFL coaches, Coach Donatelli at Towson, some of the NFL coaches talk about a shuffle, okay? I mean, it depends on what you want to coach this player to do, but this is a pure rip technique, rip to run technique. Okay, and he's just looking to knock that off. Now, the risk in there is that there's nobody blocking the front side linebacker. Okay, luckily the back makes him wrong by taking it a little gap wider, and the center's able to come off. This is Fordham University. Okay, uncovered player. Coach Joel Rodriguez, the offensive line coach, really does a good job talking about the drop angle step. And that's in the clinic report for an uncovered player. So we're looking at the guard right now. He has a really good video, coaches, if you haven't seen it on this case, about how he talks about, or the drop step technique. And again, his goal now, Coach Rodriguez talks about getting face mask to face mask. Okay, and he talks about reading cloth and doing all those things. So it's really a drop. It's really a bucket step for those wide techniques, those uncovered players. And you see he's able to pull back late. Some coaches talk about that rewind. Some coaches don't talk about the rewind, going back across away from the play side. This is Towson. This is a mid-zone concept. Okay, uncovered right now is the right, or the left guard, excuse me. Okay, he is taking a bucket, an open step, as Coach Donatelli referred to in the report. Okay, and again, that color shows there. Now he's going to work to take that block over. Strong inside hand position. Okay, and Coach talks about that full, talks about the exact technique in there. It's Towson again. Okay, uncovered right guard. It's tough to see, but you see how he feels this out? I mean, he's able to feel that out with his right hand. He's able to feel for that hip. Once that hip goes away, he's able to climb right now. He's able to get his hands. And here's the situation, and we talked about the position of the backer and the count system, where you're working to. And I'm trying to get this closer to pre-snap. The backer's here. So you can't be too wide, because if you're too wide right now, then you can't be in a position to come back and block that pursuing backer. And Coach Bill Callahan talks about this in a report. He talks about that, almost using that drag footwork like a covered player would do, but an uncovered player would do, just to make sure you're back in a position in case the ball, because you don't know where the ball's going. If the ball cuts back, somebody has to be responsible for that backer. So just to give you an idea, coaches, that uncovered rule and wide zone schemes, okay, some of the concepts here that we put together for you. And again, if you want the full version without narration, you can get that on the full-length report. Thanks for logging in, coaches.